Okay, so the story so far, it's about, I don't know, I think 7 o'clock in the morning, 6:45, something like that, on day 3, Monday. We had tried to get to the first hut from the starting point. The first hut was, I don't know, about 10.5 or 11k, and generally you can make that in one day, so I don't know, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever, less for some people. But we were told that the snow on most of the trails was 2 metres, so we thought we'd just try and get there. And the thing I probably should tell you about the Overland Track is once you start, you can't get off, you have to turn back. So it's a train that you can't actually get off. You just go from hut to hut. If you don't make it to the next hut, you camp. So we made a decision to go from the start and just hoped that we'd get to that first hut. So there is an emergency hut which we got to. So we got to the emergency hut at about 3:30, and by that point, it was 2 metres of snow pretty much all over the trail. And if you weren't on the trail, you were sinking up to your hips into snow. There were some poles to follow, so that's the only way you knew you were going the right way. So we got to that kitchen hut or emergency hut. We could have stayed there, but there's barely any room in there, no heating. So we thought we'd try our luck to get to the first hut, Waterfall Hut, at the 11k mark or whatever. And so left the kitchen hut at about 3:30. Thought we'd just go. By about 4:45, a storm come in. There was lightning. We were quite frightened with our poles, our steel poles, aluminium poles. We might get struck by lightning. So we made a decision. We were probably about an hour and a half, I don't know, or maybe 2 hours from the Waterfall Hut. So we made a decision at about 3:30 to, oh sorry, not 3:30, 4:30 or something, 4:45, I don't know, to set up our tents in the snow. So we slept on the snow on the first night, which was just so cold, and it was pouring rain when we were setting up, so all our stuff got saturated. We slept with space blankets, the foil emergency blankets between our mattresses and our sleeping bags, but everything was wet. We all went to bed wet. It was 2 people in most tents, so we just cuddled up. It snowed and hailed and rained all night. So we got up pretty early, and it was pouring rain, so I packed everything up in the pouring rain. And our priority was just to get to hut number 1, Waterfall Hut. So we knew we had about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5k ahead of us. So we were averaging about a k an hour. So, and the weather was a little better, but it did start to rain as we got underway. So we got underway at about 7:30 by the time we packed up, and it was pretty tough going. It was hilly and really deep snow in lots of places, lots of sinking in. And look, one of the girls, even as we were packing up that morning, she said she was going back. She couldn't go any further. So we had to talk her around. But in the end, she kind of led us, which was good. She was desperate to get to the next hut, to the first hut. So we got to this beautiful Waterfall Hut finally at about 11:30 on day 2, on the Sunday. And the fire was going, just a beautiful gas heater. And it was a really good time to get there because most people were leaving. So they were leaving to head off to the next hut. So when we got there at 11:30, we quickly grabbed a bed. So there's just sleeping platforms that sleep about 6 or 7 people. So there's 4 of those. So we quickly grabbed platforms, laid our stuff out, and just, got to work trying to get our stuff dry on the heaters and getting some hot food in our belly and just getting some rest. And as the day wore on, lots and lots of people arrived. So by nightfall, we had probably 35 people in the hut. So people were just everywhere, stuff everywhere. So it's Monday morning now, and we're all packed up, or most people are packed up, just having some brekkie. It's been snowing all night. I'll just show you the boardwalk here.
And how beautiful it is.
Yeah, so it's been snowing all night, and our next hut, I can't remember what that's called, Windermere or something like that. I think that's 7k away. So we should be able to get to that, I don't know, 3-4 hours maybe a bit more. Rumour has it that it gets easier from here, far less snow, nothing like the 2 metres we've had, but it's a little bit hilly apparently. So it's damn cold. Yeah, there's snow everywhere, and yeah, morale's pretty good. I mean, I think it was pretty horrible yesterday when we all woke up wet in our tents, and we really don't want to be sleeping in tents again. It's just too cold, and yeah, it really hasn't, I mean, it's not raining now, but it really hasn't stopped raining or snowing. So yeah, it's I guess you just get used to being in your wet gear, sleeping in your wet gear. And for me, look, obstacle racing, I just thank my obstacle racing, because I've got wet feet all the time and everything's wet, and I'm just so used to that with my obstacle racing. And maybe living in Kinglake for 13 years, I've gotten used to the cold, I'm acclimatised. So it's cold, but I've got all the right gear, I'm all thermaled up. Yeah, there's a few people out here who don't have the right gear, people turning up in cotton t-shirts and stuff, and you know, they do say that there's people that have died on the Overland Trail. So I'm just drinking my warm tea. So I can understand why. You just need to have all the right gear, and yeah, plenty of hot food. Yeah, so I'll check in again maybe in a couple of days, but I just thought I'm just really doing this video for my own record, I suppose, and for those that are interested.